know, I hate being sick. I've been sick, like, all winter break, and this has just been sucking. It's not a horrible sickness, it's just, like, stuffiness. It just sucks. It does. This is Mega Freak 400 with Banjo-Kazooie, Grunty's Revenge. We are in the freezing furnace. Well, the level of freezing furnace is essentially the furnace part of the freezing furnace. The freezing part is the outer world. We just opened up Demon Frosty the Demon Snowman, or whatever you want to call that guy. Upcoming is probably the most difficult boss. In my opinion, it's probably the most difficult boss. You could argue that the final boss, without giving anything away, the final boss is harder, and it is, but I'd say this boss is much harder, and you'll see why. There's only one reason why this boss is so hard. It's Klungo, but the floor is icy. You could use Kazooie's challenge rod to make the floor so you wouldn't slip, but you also have to attack him, and then he can become invisible, so it's much easier just to try and deal with the ice. This is just a really hard boss battle. Then he sends out these red gremloid things, just like the pink ones from Spiller's Harbor and from Bad Magic Bayou. You have to hit left and right on the control stick. You don't know how many times it took me to actually get this without, like, death after death after death. It was just horrid. I really do. I hate this. This is the worst boss battle in the game. People could argue and say, no, there's some of the ones coming on later are harder. No, Klungo is... I say this is his hardest battle just because of the ice floor. Just because of the ice floor. Get rid of the ice floor and this battle would be easy. The ice floor makes it 10 times harder than it needs to be. So Klungo is dead. You know what that means, boys and girls? We get a Jiggy and another Mumbo token, which means we can get our last transformation. And what will it be? It's gotta be something awesome. And actually it is. So that's 4 Jiggies. Not too many left. So, real quick, I want to say that for those interested in what the LP group I'm in, Crystal Studios is doing, we are planning something hopefully very soon. Keep a lookout on that channel for that. I'll give a link in the sidebar or side, whatever you call it. But yeah, we should be getting started very soon with what we are planning. It's been a little bit of a wait, but we have had things to deal with. I don't know if I announced this. I don't think I did. I got my capture card. Well, I didn't. I did announce it. I made a video showing that I got it. So, but yeah, I did get my capture card. So everything should work well with that. You can expect my next Let's Play, which I do have an idea what it is, as I said yesterday, to be a capture card Let's Play. And this room it's just not even nice. It's just a mean room, a mean puzzle. You have to spell it Gruntilda. But you have these, the poison gas from the, remember the Vapor Scrubs from Bad Magic Bayou? They put that in here, you constantly lose health, and, like, even with grabbing the extra health around the room, you basically have to do this perfect as fast as you can, because like when you get hit, you end up messing up the build drill. As you saw, I die here. It's almost impossible to do this unless you're like you just have to go as fast as you can. I don't even know how. It's just a mean room. It's like, let's put poison gas in this room, make you spell out a name by build drilling every letter of tiles. Seriously, you can just barely make this without dying. It's just not nice. So yeah, and then yeah, when you go in to grab the extra health, you even get damage. That's the other thing. It's like, what the hell? I'm sorry for swearing, but what the heck? What the Dunsparce? Not sure why I said Dunsparce, but whatever. This room is just the worst room possible. It's like, again, I guess that's one other thing is one of the things they did with see, I died. One of the things they did to make things harder in this game is just cheap things like this. And I just realized I wanted to comment on it because it was so odd. But if you were listening earlier, and go back if you didn't, I'm sorry I didn't comment on it. After you beat Klungo, before he drops the when he's dropping the tokens and stuff, a bit from Spiller's Harbor actually plays instead. And that makes no sense. I don't know why. And I've played this several times and it plays. I don't know if it's. I don't know why. It just that played. I don't know if it's supposed to. But yeah, a little bit of music from Spiller's Harbor plays instead of like the furnace. I don't know. It's odd. And I forgot to mention that. I was going to. I was like, well, that is so odd. I have to mention it because it's so odd. Again, here's another gold piece. We're going to get all those. I'm actually going to leave the furnace soon and come back. We're going to be doing a lot of transformation stuff at the end of this video. Let's see. Other things to talk about. Controllers. What do I mean by controllers? Well, my aunt recently purchased a Wii for Wii Fit. Because she wanted Wii Fit. But, like, I was talking to her on the phone, and she was having trouble with getting her thing to work. Her Wii to work. She was trying to get it set up. And I think one of her biggest problems was just controlling the Wiimote with its motion control. Now, what does this have to do with controllers in general? Well, if you go back in time to when the NES first came out, right? Now I was trying to figure out what to do here. I realized what I had to do. There's a switch I have to get, so don't worry about. I'm just going to talk through this. Continue talking through this. When the NES came out, they had a simple controller. Control pad, A button, B button, start, select. That was it. Very simple, very easy. My mother bought one. My aunt also had it, and they were both good at it, and they enjoyed it. I mean, my mom beat Zelda 2 and Kid Icarus, two of the hardest games, or two of some of the hardest games on the NES, without any trouble back in the day. Nowadays she probably couldn't do it because she's not as into video games as she used to be, and she wasn't really into video games, but she was good. You know, I mean, I had trouble beating. Not so much Kid Icarus now. I've gotten really good at Kid Icarus after playing it a while, but I had trouble beating Zelda 2. And I believe she played it, and she's beaten it. And it's just like, wow, someone who, even back then was like in her, I think, I don't know what age, older than most people who tend to play video games, was able to play it very easily. They were good. Then they came out with the SNES. They had a few more buttons. It was still fairly simple, and she still enjoyed it. N64 came out. It wasn't even just the 3D aspect. Well, that did turn her off, but just the control stick, all of the buttons. The N64 controller had so many buttons, and the GameCube controller added even more buttons. You know, it's like, what the heck? You're making it more complicated. Now, Nintendo released the Wiimote. It's very simple. I mean, my mom was, I got a new Super Mario Bros. Wii, and I was playing the multiplayer mode. And she was actually quite, it wasn't great or anything, because she hadn't played in a while. And, yeah, the next transformation is the tank. So we're going to see the tank in action. She wasn't, like, you know, greatest at all, but she was actually pretty good, and it was very simple, because it's basically going back to the NES controls. So my point is, if Nintendo wants to continue their marketing of, marketing towards, yeah, the tank can't jump, but it can go through poisonous areas and also shoot people. If they want to continue their marketing of casual gamers, I believe they should get away from focusing on the motion control. I believe they should just go back to very simple controls. And I know people say, oh, wait a minute, and yeah, that's a switch to hit so you can get up to get those final notes and the other gold pieces, but I didn't know it was down there. But wait a minute, Mega. We're progressing so far into society. Shouldn't we, why should we go back to very simple basics? Well, you know, there's other improvements that can be made, and this is a very simple puzzle. There's other improvements that can be made in the controller. Sometimes simple is better in terms of controls. It makes it much easier to do. It makes, you know, instead of, in my opinion, instead of focusing on the controls and innovating the graphics, I think you should, or making better graphics, I think they should focus on making more innovative gameplay and more innovative and better, even continue making great music and innovative storylines and also character development. I think that should be the focus instead of how can we improve the hardware, how can we improve the graphics, how can we do all of this. I think we should get away from motion control. I'm not saying, like, get rid of motion control totally. I'm saying don't make it the focus. Motion control is fine, but, like, virtual reality, I'm not really for virtual reality, to be honest, because video games for me aren't a virtual reality. They're not a I don't play video games to go into another reality. I play video games to relax. It's no different than reading a book for me or playing movies. So the virtual reality, that's like, that's not my thing. I don't think we should be going that far. I think we should just focus on other aspects to improve instead of the controls. And yeah, that's the only use for the candle besides in Bad Magic Bayou. That's all the time I have. I will tune in next time for more Banjo-Kazooie, Grunty's Revenge. This is Maker 400 reminding you, the octopus has a funny squeak. He does.